Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to take a look at a couple of things that you can now spend even more money on. It's now getting to the point where I'm pretty sure it is actually impossible to keep up with every branch of 40k. Like, you cannot be, unless your job is professional billionaire, I'm not entirely sure how you keep up with all, like, the Funko Pop stuff, the Bandai figure, there's the McFarlane figure coming out, now there's something else as well, which we're just about to talk about. It feels like just 40k has expanded massively in the last couple of years, to the point where I don't know if it's feasible to collect absolutely everything to do with it. Nor would I expect anyone to actually do that. It's not really the point. The point is branching out into other markets, and Games Workshop seem to be doing that pretty damn well. So we have had already the Bandai Ultramarine, the old blueberry there, and that's fine. That's fine. Just your standard lowly Ultramarine. I say lowly because no one cares. But now we have a little bit of variation. We have something beyond just your standard boy in blue, your poster child of Games Workshop's marketing campaign surrounding 40k. Now there is an Imperial Fist and Salamander variety. So the Imperial Fist has got an auto bolt gun with a grenade launcher underslung, and the Salamander has got just another bolter, but it's got some cool fiery, flamey effect things going on. Now, from what I can tell, these are exactly the same. They have a different gun, yes, but the actual models themselves, like the figures themselves, sorry, are I think, just identical to the Ultramarine one. They just painted different colours. That's fine. Wouldn't really expect anything else, to be honest, when it comes to the pre-painted stuff. It's way easier, I imagine anyway, to just produce the same model, the same figure, over and over, give it slight variations in weapons, and just paint the armour a different colour. Frankly, it's just nice to see something other than Ultramarines get a look in, to be totally honest with you. These aren't things that I'm particularly bothered about personally. I'm not going to rush out and grab like every single one of these Bandai figures. They're not for me, that's absolutely fine, but it is nice to see that there is some variation going on, that we are seeing more in the way of other aspects of the Space Marines, at least, being explored. Now, of course, if you want to pique my interest, if you want to get me interested in these specifically, make an Emperor's Children one, and I'll be all over it. But when it comes to just your standard Space Marines, I can take it or leave it. Still, as with the Ultramarine one, they look pretty decent quality, although I seem to remember there being some issues with things like mould lines and paint quality on the Ultramarine one. Hopefully those will be sorted out somewhat for this. That was a fairly common complaint from what I remember. I mean, to be honest, obviously the pictures on the site look decent, but then marketing shots always do, don't they? Although, having said that, I feel like there's a bit of a line on the on one of the elbow pads there, but I can't tell whether that's part of the actual figure or whether that is a pretty chunky seam-like mould line going on there. Who knows? Either way, it's, to be honest, kind of refreshing that we see something other than Ultramarines get in the limelight. Speaking of which, these things were like, what, 70, 80 quid? 60, 70 quid? Something like that. If you want to spend even more, then there's going to be an opportunity to do exactly that, because it's not just Bandai and McFarlane and, like, Funkos that are now showing up. There is also a place called Green Wolf Studios, a company called Green Wolf Studios, who are going to be producing some Imperial Guard figures. Now, this is interesting to me because I have no idea that this company existed at all. Like, to the extent where I went, that people are excited about this, but I have no idea why. They seem to be doing some really quite detailed, realistic models. I don't really know what to describe these as. They're being described as action figures, but to me, I would describe an action figure as being like about yay high, you know, your kind of G.I. Joe Action Man style thing. That is not what this is. So it's a company called Green Wolf Studios, and they are doing some Imperial Guard stuff. Cadian, by the look of it, understandably. However, the stuff that they make is ludicrously detailed. It's also at the scale of 1/6. So pretty big, pretty big. Let's have a look at, well, just so you know I'm not making it up, if we take a quick glance at their website and scroll through here, so yeah, okay, we've got the British Army, we've got Devtag Ronin, and what's this? Warhammer 40,000 official licensed product. Now, there's no actual product to look at. They don't have anything on the site for the Warhammer 40k partnership specifically, but that doesn't mean we can't take a look at what they do. This is something that I didn't know existed at all, and good lord, the detail is something else. Let's go post-apocalyptic, because that seems more close to what we might see from that sort of thing. Like, look at it. Also, look at the price. Look at the price of this. So that is 180 quid for your Hanroku Genocide Trooper. That's costly. That is costly. But again, these aren't small. They are big figures. At 1/6 scale, they're pretty sizable. And there's oh wow, that's zoomed in a bit much, isn't it? But there's just so much going on. Like, look at the level of zoom that we've got going on here, and look at the fine detail. It's crazy. I mean, they look really good. Again, like as we said at the start of the video, like this is a level of added expenditure that, frankly, I am not up to. It's just not. I mean, it's this or Forge World Knight. I'll be honest, I'm going to go for the Forge World Knight personally, but I can absolutely see the appeal of this. I can absolutely see the appeal of this, more so than I think the Bandai figures. The Bandai figure looks like a larger, less detailed version of the models that we used to see on the tabletop. This is a way larger version of something that has just got even more detail. I mean, there's like some poses. Like, you could show me that picture, and I'll be honest, I would just assume that was a bloke in a costume. I would just assume that that's what that was. If I didn't know what this was, and I wasn't looking at a shop where you can purchase it right now, I would just assume that is a guy. It's kind of extraordinary, to be honest. Yeah, this does pique my interest that a little bit more. But again, my profession is not a billionaire or millionaire, so the hobby budget needs to be more focused on the actual stuff I can use as opposed to things that could, I was going to say, stand in the background. Would they even fit on that shelf, given the size of them, given the scale? Because they're pretty sizable. I don't know that there'd be anywhere I could really put it. I'm not entirely sure how big that really is. Pretty good, pretty interesting. To me, that's a more interesting pairing. That is a different angle to take. I mean, it's still obviously the collectible figure side of things. It's still that kind of market, but it's kind of shifted out into something a little bit different. To be honest, all of this stuff is just kind of fascinating to watch. It's very interesting to see where Games Workshop are taking their IP and what they're actually doing with it, because they really have, over the last few years especially. It feels like they've just exploded it out and gone, you know what, let's see what we can make that will just push this to everywhere. It's getting the name out a bit more, and it's getting more people aware of what 40k is and what it looks like. Yeah, it's funky, it's interesting. I do like these though. I do like these. These are cool. More ways in which to spend money on 40k without even buying models or books. It's getting there now where you could, I think, feasibly have a decent collection of 40k themed stuff that isn't books, and that isn't models, and that isn't codexes. You could feasibly have a pretty sizable collection of stuff and not even be anywhere like tabletop adjacent, to be honest. It's kind of cool. Now, before we end the video, our shout out for the week is Dana Howell. She is an amazing content creator. She does really good tutorials. Her channel is fantastic and has an aesthetic that I fully appreciate, as you can probably tell from the switches that I've made on this particular channel, which were largely influenced by her. She's lovely. She does great painting, great tutorials. I really suggest you go and take a look at her channel. There will be a link in the description down below. Yeah, she's good. You should check her out. So there you go, some interesting stuff on the way, especially the Green Wolf Studios thing. That is interesting to me. I'd be curious to know if any of you have got any experience with that yourselves, like whether you've got any of these figures, what they're like in person. Are they just as detailed? Are they just as, I mean, borderline lifelike as they look on the store? What's your general experience with them? Be interested to know, so let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. As always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.